From JBS Studios in Greater New York, this is the JBS News Update with Teisha Bader.
I'm Teisha Bader with the JBS News Update for Wednesday, November the 29th, 2023. A sixth hostage release took place tonight on the second day of an extension of the temporary truce reached between Israel and terror group Hamas. 10 Israeli hostages, women and children, as well as 4 Thai nationals, were released from Hamas captivity in Gaza 54 days after they were abducted, along with approximately 230 others during the Hamas massacre on October the 7th. 2 additional hostages, dual Russian-Israeli citizens, were freed earlier this evening from Gaza, a gesture, Hamas said, to Russian President Vladimir Putin. Reported efforts to continue to extend the pause in fighting to allow for more hostages to come home is said to be ongoing. IDF spokesperson Rear Admiral Daniel Harary last night, after the 5th hostage release, stressed that they have not forgotten for a moment about the children, women, and men that are still being held in Gaza, and shared shocking testimonials, Harary said, from a 12-year-old boy released from Gaza last night who said he was forced by his terrorist captors to watch graphic video of the atrocities committed on October the 7th, and that he was beaten. Harary saying the boy's testimony demonstrates that Hamas is a cruel terrorist organization that does not allow the Red Crescent, equivalent to the Red Cross, to check on the well-being of the hostages, saying it is both our moral obligation and the world's moral obligation as humans to insist that the Red Crescent fulfill its responsibility, vowing we will do everything to bring all of the hostages back home. Yesterday, U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan spoke with International Committee of the Red Cross President Mirjana Spoljaric-Egger, where Sullivan reiterated the call for the immediate release of all hostages and highlighted the imperative need for the ICRC to have access to and provide medical assistance to those hostages still being detained. Israeli troops are conducting counter-terror operations in the West Bank and last night eliminated 2 senior Palestinian terrorists in Jenin, arresting other terror suspects and confiscating weapons. The IDF said during the activity, exchanges of fire developed and explosives were thrown at the Israeli forces, who shot at the terrorists and hit them. The U.S. House of Representatives passed 2 bipartisan resolutions yesterday in support of Israel. Resolution 888 reaffirms Israel's right to exist. It passed overwhelmingly with 1 vote nay. That was Republican Thomas Massie, and 1 vote present. That was Democrat Rashida Tlaib, with 21 representatives not voting, 11 Republicans and 10 Democrats. The resolution also recognizes that denying Israel's right to exist is a form of antisemitism, rejects calls for Israel's destruction, and condemns the Hamas-led attack on Israel. Resolution 793 condemned Hamas's October 7th brutal terrorist attack on Israel, it said, and demands the immediate release of the hostages being held by Hamas. It passed unanimously in the House. The resolution was introduced by Republican French Hill and Democrat Haley Stevens, who, in speaking before the vote yesterday, called Hamas's actions unconscionable and an attack on all humanity, and called for all of the hostages to be released.
We are relieved that some are home, but we must condemn those who have kidnapped. We must condemn the terrorists who have brutally killed relatives, neighbors, and fellow Israelis, those who seek to attack the Jewish state. And we must continue to push to return the remaining hostages. Let us not forget, over 150 remain in Gaza.
And today, Senator Chuck Schumer addressed the U.S. Senate on the dangerous and disturbing rise of anti-Semitism in America since the October 7th massacre.
To us, the Jewish people, the rise of anti-Semitism is a crisis, a 5-alarm fire that must be extinguished.
Taking a look now at our programming for tonight on JBS for Wednesday, November the 29th. At 7 o'clock, Rabbi Sharon Brous of IKAR in Los Angeles speaks about the search for hope amidst the heartache. That's followed by the Yeshiva University Maccabees versus the U.S. Merchant Marine Academy. At 9, it's Charlie Harary on L'chaim. At 10, Arthur Smith talks about his book Reach with Rabbi Avraham Bronstein. At 10:30, author Joseph Berger talks about his book Elie Wiesel, Confronting the Silence. And coming up next, it's Thinking Out Loud. And that's the JBS News Update for Wednesday, November the 29th, 2023. I'm Teisha Bader. Am Yisrael Chai.